Today we're here with Licenciado J.J. Sanchez, whose office is based here in Jaco Beach, beautiful Jaco Beach in the background behind us on a beautiful day. We'll be discussing topics that are of interest to people coming to Costa Rica that want to relocate here. So that would include immigration, it would include purchasing real estate, and also setting up a corporation and seeing what the benefits of a corporation are for putting your residence or your vehicle or a business into and what the requirements are. So we'll be breaking this up into three different segments, and we'll start today with Licenciado JJ, as he's known by his friends and his uh, beloved clients, and we'll discuss the purchase of real estate. Good morning, JJ.
Good morning, Hernan, and good morning, dear friends. Thank you for joining us. So, um, as you say, the real estate experience in Costa Rica is a very wonderful and very potential with big potential investment opportunity for a foreign citizen. Of course, you have to follow a specific uh, due diligence approach in order to optimize it and do it in a safe and successful manner. Uh, basically, once you have identified the real estate property, which is the desired investment. Uh, we perform a title search and verification process, which involves the national registry of Costa Rica, where all the titles and any links or encumbrances incident to the ownership of a property are recorded, and they are matter of public record. So we make a title search. We also verify the cadastral map, which is a graphic description of the property, and we verify the graphic description compliance with the legal description of the title. We verify the tax status of the property at the municipal, regional, local level, and if the value is above 137 million colones, if the fiscal value, this triggers the luxury house tax, and we verify that status as well. Once we verify the luxury house tax, we also verify the seller's standing to sell, because if it's a corporation, they need a special shareholder's authorization, and if the seller is a physical individual, we need to check the civil status in case they have been divorced. There arises a marital assets issue, and the former spouse needs to co-sign or to have previously waived marital assets on that property. So we verify all these legal aspects of the transaction. We assist on preparing the purchase offer, or if they have already signed the purchase offer through the broker, we review the purchase offer. We direct the client to an escrow agent, because ideally, using the services of the escrow agent facilitates and makes it easier and safer for the parties, and in order to comply with the Costa Rica anti-money laundering laws, which have restrictions on wires above $10,000 into Costa Rica or anywhere within Costa Rica. So the escrow agent that has a special license by the Costa Rican Supervisory Board, financial superintendency entities, solves this problem by opening the escrow account and the escrow contract. So we work with the escrow agent, and then at closing date, we prepare the property transfer deed and the special power of attorney in case we have an absentee buyer if they're not coming to the closing for whatever reason, and we record the property title in the national registry. Normally it takes 4 to 6 weeks, the registration process, and after that we prepare and file a new owner tax declaration that we present to the municipality tax department.
Okay. Now I want to say that Licenciado JJ here is extremely experienced. I've known him for 25 years. He started in 1995 and has over 2,500 real estate transactions under his belt. So this is a guy that can definitely help you get things done right and in a timely manner. I want to emphasize that Costa Rica, unlike other countries, allows a foreigner to come right in and purchase a property, right? And he has all the same rights as a Costa Rican citizen.
Correct. The foreigners under the Constitution of Costa Rica have the same rights as nationals, with few exceptions. For example, political rights, participating in political polls or voting. And the only restriction that there exists upon foreigners is a relative small one, is regarding the maritime terrestrial property, which is located 150 meters from the beach on oceanfront areas that were not titled before 1977.
So now I understand that maritime terrestrial zone, there's approximately maybe a little less than 10% of the land in the country that goes from that 50-meter point, which is completely owned by the government, to the 200 mark. So those 150 meters, there's a little less than 10% of the property in Costa Rica that is actually titled. Most of it is in a concession situation, right? Can you tell us a little bit how that concession works?
Correct. But all properties have been titled in Costa Rica historically through judicial proceeding known as adverse possession, which is a normal proceeding for obtaining title of land established in the Civil Code and of Costa Rica of 1988. But not all the oceanfront was titled up to 1977, because this is how history evolved. So in 1977, less than 10% of the oceanfront lands were titled through these proceedings. It's called fee simple or domain, full domain land ownership, like the rest of the country. The other 90% approximately that was not titled in 1977, then it falls under the Maritime Terrestrial Concession Law, which establishes that past the 50 meters of the high tide, which is the public beach, public domain, the next 150 meters are a concession lease of 20 years, signed and granted with the municipality council and the mayor of the municipality where the property is located, and it gets recorded in the National Registry also.
Is that renewal every 20 years?
Every 20 years, every 20 years it is renewed, and there is a legal guarantee that it will be renewed, unless exceptional case that the concessionary, the owner of the concession, breaches the concession terms, which is paying the concession taxes or breaking the environmental laws or the urbanistic code, breaking the construction rules of the urbanistic code. In that case, there will be a legal admonition to amend this issue. Normally, you will be given 6 months to a year, and once it's amended, then you could renew it.
Okay. I've always said that it's a good idea to get, obviously, the best lawyer that you can find before you even start to look for a property, because that's like the best guy to have in your corner. I will also generally give the advice that it's good to get a lawyer that's in the general vicinity of where you're interested in buying a property, because they're going to know more about what's happening with the municipality and with other things that could affect that property purchase. How do you feel about that? Is that a good?
Yes, correct. There are many, as we know, there are many branches of law: criminal, administrative, family law, customs law, and of course, real estate. It's by its own. It's a highly sophisticated specialty with many technicalities and nuances, and it's better to handle this process with a lawyer with a solid background in the field and in the region as well. Yeah, that's also a good advice, because the lawyer could be familiar or better acquainted with any issues going in the
right, any problems. He probably already has a good relationship with the municipality. When you need to use the things from the municipality, it's probably easier for him to get those done.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What about corporations? What would be a good reason to purchase not in your name, but rather use a corporation for purchasing real estate?
Well, basically, it is clear that foreigners, they can own property, real estate property, in their personal physical name, or they also may incorporate a corporation or a limited liability company. We prefer limited liability companies because they're safer and simpler than corporations. So you may incorporate a limited liability company for three reasons. Number one, to protect the real estate property from personal criminal liability. For example, in case of a car accident, if you incur in criminal liability, the property would be exposed, and if you don't have the proper insurance coverage, it could leave the property exposed to being subject of a civil or criminal action that would also create a claim against the property, an encumbrance or a lien, judicial lien. The second benefit is that you may use the limited liability company to run a bank account in case you need to rent the property and do banking, paying taxes and stuff. The LLC allows you to open a bank account. In the case if you don't have residency, when foreigners don't have residency, they can open a bank account with a passport, but the amounts are capped between $2,000 and $3,000 per month that you can turn over through the account if you don't have residency. With the LLC, this cap or this limitation doesn't exist, so you can run higher sums of money through the account if it's necessary, for example, in a construction project. And the third benefit of the LLC is if you have children or beneficiaries, or heirs or partners, you may appoint them as beneficiary owners in the LLC with rights of control of the LLC in case of death of the principal of the LLC. This is called corporate survivorship, and that's also possible to arrange for the LLC. Oh, wow. So that's the three benefits.
Some very good benefits to have that before you have a permanent residency here.
Yeah.
Definitely. What about taxes involved when you purchase a property here in Costa Rica? What are the taxes that you have to pay on that?
Okay, on the real estate transaction, you have a one-time property transfer tax and tax stamps. This one is 2 3/4, 2.75% of the purchase price of the property, and the lawyer and notary fee is 1% of the purchase price.
So we're looking at
3 3/4.
A little bit, a little bit under 4%
under 4%
on a purchase transaction.
Correct.
Of the price of the sale. Yeah.
Once you acquire the property, you will be paying to the local municipality a real estate tax ownership yearly of a quarter point, 0.25%, 0.25%. Due yearly, quarterly in arrears, March, June, September, and December to the municipality, or you can pay the whole year and get a 5% discount.
So to get that straight, for example, if you have a property that's worth $100,000, you would be paying $250.
Correct, yearly
Okay.
to the municipality.
That's very good. Yeah.
If the property has a declared value or a fiscal value on the record above 137 million colones, which is around $225,000 more or less, the property also pays a luxury house tax due to the Costa Rican Revenue Administration. The IRS of Costa Rica is due in January every year, and it's also a quarter point, 0.25%.
So it duplicates basically between quarter to the municipality, quarter to the other.
Yeah, you'd be paying half a point.
So instead of $250, you'd be paying $500. Not on that property because that one doesn't.
It doesn't trigger the value,
yeah.
but if it triggered it, would be half a point.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.